Long ago, in the ancient land of Egypt, a powerful king ruled with arrogance and oppression. He was called Firon, known in history as Pharaoh. His empire flourished with wealth, palaces, armies, and slaves. Yet beneath the glittering stone monuments, deep injustice spread across the land, especially toward the children of Israel, who were forced into hard labor. Among these oppressed people lived a mother with a newborn child. Years earlier, Firon had ordered the killing of every male infant from the Israelites, fearing a prophecy that one of them would overthrow him. When Musa was born, his mother feared for his life, but God inspired her to place the baby in a small wooden basket and set it afloat upon the Nile River. Through divine decree, the basket drifted gently until it reached the palace of Firon. The queen, Asia, found the infant. Her heart softened when she looked at his face. She persuaded Firon not to kill the child, saying perhaps he could bring them joy. Musa was raised as a prince inside Firon's own palace, living among wealth and royalty, even though he belonged to the very people Firon. Oppressed as Musa grew older, he observed the cruelty inflicted on his people. One day, while walking through the city, he encountered an Egyptian man beating an Israelite slave. Musa intervened, striking the Egyptian in defense, but the blow unintentionally caused the man's death. Musa immediately regretted his action and prayed for forgiveness. The next day, word spread about the death, and Musa realized the authorities were searching for him. A man warned him that Firon's advisors planned to kill him. Musa fled from Egypt, journeying through desert lands, until he reached Madian, where he sought refuge. There, Musa met two sisters struggling to water their flock because shepherds refused to let them approach the well. Musa stepped in with strength and fairness, helping them water their animals. They returned home early, surprising their father, who invited Musa to his home. Eventually, Musa married one of the daughters and worked for her father for many years. One night, while traveling back toward Egypt with his family, Musa saw a strange light glowing on Mount Sinai. He approached it, hoping to gather fire for warmth. But there, God spoke to him, appointing Musa as a prophet and messenger, commanding him to return to Egypt and deliver Firon a message: worship the one God and release the children of Israel. Musa, humble and aware of the challenge, requested support. God granted him miracles, his staff turning into a snake, his hands shining with radiant light. God also appointed his brother Harun as his helper in speech. Musa returned to Egypt, not as a prince, but as a messenger of divine truth. He and Harun approached Firon, demanding justice, liberate the enslaved Israelites. Firon was enraged and arrogant, claiming himself to be the supreme lord. He challenged Musa, mocking his message and accusing him of magic. To demonstrate divine signs, Musa cast down his staff, and it turned into a serpent. Illusionists of the court performed their tricks, making ropes appear like snakes, but Musa's serpent swallowed their illusions. Seeing this, some magicians recognized the truth and proclaimed belief in the God of Musa and Harun. Firon reacted with fury, threatening torture and execution. The conflict escalated. Musa continued calling him toward truth, warning him of God's punishment. Firon grew more stubborn, increasing oppression on the Israelites. God sent trials to Egypt as warnings: floods, locusts, lice, frogs, and blood. Each time, Firon begged Musa to pray for relief, but as soon as the affliction lifted, he returned to arrogance. Finally, God instructed Musa to lead his people out of Egypt by night. Thousands of families quietly packed their belongings and followed Musa toward the sea. When Firon learned of their escape, he gathered his army and pursued them, determined to crush them once and for all. The Israelites reached the Red Sea and saw Pharaoh's army approaching from behind. Panic spread among the people. They felt trapped between water and death. Musa stood firm, confident in God's promise. Then, by divine command, Musa struck the sea with his staff. The waters parted, forming towering walls on both sides and a dry path through the seafloor. Amazed and fearful, the people rushed through the passage. Firon and his soldiers followed, blinded by pride and vengeance. When the Israelites reached safety on the far shore, the waters thundered closed, swallowing Firon and his army. In those final moments, Firon cried out that he now believed, but the time for acceptance had passed. God preserved Pharaoh's body as a sign for future generations, that even the mightiest tyrants fall when they challenge divine truth. For Musa, the journey was far from over. He received revelation at Mount Sinai, leading his people toward guidance. Yet the liberation from Egypt remains one of the greatest turning points in sacred history. The story of Musa and Firon endures today, not merely as ancient history, but as a lesson in power and humility. It reminds rulers and ordinary people alike that tyranny has consequences, justice prevails, and divine wisdom surpasses human arrogance. Musa's courage, patience, and faith stand as inspiration for millions. Firon's downfall warns humanity against pride and oppression. Where Musa chose humility and obedience to God, Firon chose arrogance and denial. Their confrontation remains a timeless symbol of truth versus falsehood, mercy versus tyranny, and faith versus arrogance.